Welcome back to Gentry's Garage. This time I'm going to be working on a 1937 Chevy two-door sedan. We got this not too far away from here. The history on it is the guy we bought it from, he bought it from Nebraska, up in Nebraska, and he drove it back. And once he got it home, he decided he didn't like it, had some issues, so he wanted to do some work to it, shave the door handles, put hidden hinges in it and stuff like that. And unfortunately he passed away. So we picked it up, and going through it, had a few little issues with some of the stuff he did. The door hinges, when you put them in, they don't open very far. This one's not bad, but the passenger side's really bad. The engine was a little tired, so it's been pulled out. Here's the fenders. Had some custom work done to the fenders already. Louvered. So what I'm going to be doing now is cutting these doors off, putting new hidden hinges in it. That's as far as that one opens. I mean, it doesn't open very far at all. It don't stay open either. And it doesn't line up very good. So I'm gonna fix the hinges. Got to put some bracing in the door. It's pretty weak inside the edge of the door where the hinges mount. The whole door flexes, both sides. So I'm gonna fix that. And then I'm gonna weld up the tail lights, put some different tail lights on it, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the chassis, check everything underneath. I'm probably gonna build a stand for this, and it'll go to paint. I've got just about everything for it, minus some glass and interior stuff. Got an engine already and trans ready that'll be going in it. I've already bought wheels and tires. I didn't buy them, but the guy that I'm building this for bought them. So yeah, it's all going to go to paint, and then it'll come back and put it together. But for this time around, just going to get these doors fixed and try to get these hinges put on, and then get everything else ready. I'll pull the column out, pull all the wiring harness out of it. The interior is pretty clean as far as metal, sheet metal work. Doesn't have a lot of rot in this car. There's a little bit on this bottom of this door right here, but I'll fix that. Pull a steering column out, put it in nicer. I don't like this steering column. It was a GM steering column somebody put in here. And just really clean up some stuff on it. Everything's set up for poppers. That's where the battery goes. And get her over to the paint shop so we can start putting this thing back together. All right, got the frame out from under the car. The car's sitting on the lift. The car's pretty clean. I do want to get underneath here and clean up the bottom a little bit, clean up some of the rough spots and paint it and possibly undercoat it before it goes back on. But right now I'm going to go out here and pressure wash this frame. And get it cleaned up. I've got everything plugged. The fuel lines are plugged. The brake lines are plugged. The gas is plugged. That shock, that coilover is broken. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to change those coilovers out. Got to find. Hopefully I can find a set that'll just bolt right in there. And then I'm going to look at this cross member because we're going from a turbo 400 to a 700 R4. And I don't know how it's going to fit in there yet. So once I get it back inside, after it's cleaned up, I'm going to put the engine in and see how it fits. So go out here and clean this thing up. Okay, so I went ahead and built a body cart for it. Make it a little easier to move around, get up close to it, and work on the doors and stuff. I'm also going to send it to the body shop like this and work on the frame and the engine, drivetrain, and all that stuff while it's going. So I'm going to fill in these tail lights now. I use some poster board. Just put it behind it, mark it, gives a good shape. I got one already cut. I got one already cut. And I tweaked it a little bit and put it in the English roller. So it fits pretty good now. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack this in, get the other one cut, get those put in and cleaned up. All right, I got those filled in, welded up and ground down. It turned out pretty good. So now I'm going to spin it around and get on these doors. So what happened here with these not opening right is the door thickness. The hinges are thicker than the doors. So the hinge was set in too far. So it looks like he shortened the actual hinge itself so it would line up with the door. And when that happened, now it won't open all the way. So I'm going to change these out instead of cutting this out. I'd like to try to save as much as I can without cutting it out. So I'm going to change the actual just hinge itself. And then I'm going to change, it won't be a straight hinge anymore right here. I'm gonna bend it so it'll step into the door a little bit. So instead of it being all the way back here, I'm gonna bend it and then bend it again so it steps in the door, something like that. See how it comes out once I start mocking everything out. And hopefully I don't have to cut everything out. Okay, so the driver's side door is sitting on there right now with the hidden hinges that were in it. And they're just not gonna work. They are fighting each other to open and close. They're in a bind all the time. So I did some research and I found some really nice hidden hinges. They're not designed for exactly what I'm doing here, but they're gonna work great, I believe. They're designed for a kit car, fiberglass body, plastic body, whatever you want to call it. So the plates are pretty heavy for the doors and for the pillars. They're designed as a suicide hinge, but they're going to work just fine with what we're doing here. So here they are. They're from Street Dreams by Ross. These are the plates that go in the pillar. So these will go in the A pillar instead of the B pillar, making them a forward opening, regular opening door. The hinges are billet, really nice piece. So I'm going to start mocking all this up and seeing where I need to start cutting. I know I'm going to have to cut the pockets out for the other hinges. So I'm going to get started on it. Okay, got the plate tacked in place. Looks like it's going to work really nice. The hinges fit really nice in there. And it clears the inside of the body back there. I don't know if you can see it moving. So it clears the inside of the body nicely. Both of them. I do have some repairs I'll make in here. I have to take out this brazing, clean all this Bondo out, and I'll fill all this in. And then I'm going to come in here on the inside, and I'll build a new plate that goes up to the firewall here, and then it triangulates it all in with some lightning holes, you know. So should be a really nice setup when it's done. The only thing I'm concerned about is how much the hinge and the bolts are going to stick out. So, but if I have to, I'll do a recess in the door, front of the edge of the door. This is going to be a really nice, simple design, and then I'll fill it all in and blend it and make it look like it's never even been done. And then when the door panels go on, or the kick panels here, I'm sorry, we won't even be able to tell they're there. The hinges are going to look really nice, and it should work really good. So, okay, got the pillar all closed in. I had to do a patches in through here, and I had to patch out into the body here. So I'm going to put the hinges on and move the car over under my hoist to hold the door up so I can mark out where the hinges go. Okay, so I've got the door hung up from the ceiling on my hoist. It goes on the outside of the upper part of the door and holds it up there pretty straight. Come around over here. And I put a mark right there. So I'm going to cut right here on the door. And I'm going to cut all this old stuff out as well. And then up here I'm just going to cut all the old stuff out. And then I'll sit the door back in there. And I'll put the plates. These are the plates for the door. And I'll put those in place, and see where everything sits and how the door sits on the car. And then if I need to make some strengthening pieces or some plates to step it into the door a little bit, I can. So get that. Okay, so I got the door hung. I had to cut out most of the front of the door. It was in pretty bad shape. So I'm gonna have to rebuild all of it. I'll put a piece back in here and try to blend it into the door, you know, and make it look like it was ish. It's gonna get a door panel over it, but I still don't like the cobbled up look. The front of the door, the whole front edge of the door is gone right now. Like I said, it was with all the brazing, there was really nothing to weld to. There was a bunch of thin spots. So I'll build a new piece and put it in there. I tied both of the door mounts together with a piece of angle. I might tie it back in here, but it's really, it doesn't flex a whole lot like it did before. It's really nice. I still got to fix this spot down here on this door. So I'm going to work on that next before I move to the other side. But the door shuts pretty good. It needs this needs to be opened up here just a bit. The front edge isn't bad. Needs to be filled in here just a hair. And then I opened to straighten this out a little bit here. So I've got to weld up the front edge, and then I'm gonna have to clean this patch up here and clean this patch up here. But the hinges work beautifully. The door opens and closes really nice. And it goes almost straight open. It does hit right there when you get it all the way open. So I'll probably put a limiter strap in somewhere in there. But it's a nice wide opening. And the door doesn't flex. It's pretty stiff. So I am happy with the way that's turning out. I'm going to continue working on fixing this door. And then I'll move over to the other side and cut out all those hinges and redo that whole side as well. I still have to build the inner piece in here. I did put a structural piece in, but I'm going to put a new piece in. It resembles something similar to that. I've got the pattern cut. I just have to cut all the holes, but it fits nicely in there. So, looks good. I'll keep moving forward with it. Okay. I got the front where the hinges mount and the inner door panel put in. It's going to get covered up with the door panel anyway, but it's strong and it's going to work out well. While I was working on that, I got into this part here, and there was a bunch of Bondo and fiberglass in there. And there's a little bit more rust than I expected in this door. So I'm going to have to patch all this. This is what I'm going to start on next. I'm going to build an inner piece here. And then once I get the inner piece with where everything references at, then I'll build the outer piece to it. And I'll wrap it on around the edge here. So I'm going to leave all this outside alone for now. And make my inner piece and put it in. And then I'll come back in and put the outside skin on. I'm just going to skin it probably to right about the edge of that bend. And at least it'll be cleaned up a little bit. While I'm in here, I'm going to clean up inside the door and spray some rust preventative in. Okay. All that's cut out. Most of the new pieces are back in intact. So just spot weld all the way down a little bit at a time. Try to keep it cool. And I still have to do the little piece here at the edge. I took a piece off the other door, and I'll And then just like that, rounded around the edge here a little bit. This goes down, the damage goes down a little further. That's why I cut the end off, and I'm gonna do it separate. Inner pieces in. Just gonna tack it all in, grind it all out, and I'll just tack fill this edge so I'll have a place to grind to shape it to the car if it needs to be, but I don't think it will be. So yeah, coming along good. Just button it up, and then I'll make this end piece, and then this door will be just about done. Okay, so I got the lower bottom of the door repaired. Turned out pretty nice. The inner part here, it's all nice. The front is all done. I shot some primer on it so it doesn't rust. I'm going to shoot a little primer on the lower part of the door and put it on the car and see how it fits. Got the door hung back on the car. Primer's all dry. Went ahead and primed the A-pillar as well. And well, guess I'll have to cut that part out and redo it. Okay. Got the door hung back on the car. Primed the A-pillar. And shuts really good. The gaps aren't horrible. Gives him something to work with. I'm going to go ahead and prime the sand that spot, and then prime the bare spots so it doesn't rust as quick. But all lines up nicely. This spot here is just a little bit low, but it's not horrible. And it opens very nice. The latch is still a little bit sticky. That's why it's hard to shut. I got some graphite on it, but I'm gonna have to clean it up and put more on. Opens a lot further than it did before. It'll go almost 90 degrees before it hits the body, right there. So I'll put limiting straps in there. The limiting straps will just go from, here to here. So flip it around, I'll do the other side now. Got all the A-pillar cut out. And I got the hinge piece prep to go in. And it'll sit in just like that. Some I'm gonna go ahead and get it started welding it in. Got it all welded in. Got the filler pieces that welded in here and down here. These were bad, so I'll cut them out and gonna replace those now. So the driver's side is done. It wasn't quite as bad as the other one, but it was still, I had to replace the whole A-pillar in front of the door. Got the inside piece done for where the kick panels will go. This is just a surface to mount the kick panel to, because I cut a lot of it out. So now I'm going to do that side, button all this up, and this part will be done. I got the inner panel started for the passenger side where the kick panel will mount. I bent the front and the top lips with a 1/4 inch bend to help strengthen it up. So now I'm going to use the hole saw and hole saw all the corners out, and then I'll just cut out the middle, clean it all up, drill some holes to spot weld, and throw it in there. Got the mounts for the inner kick panels in. Turned out nice. Shot a little primer on them, just so they don't rust until it goes to the body shop. Both doors are done. Turned out good. I gotta work on this trunk now a little bit. You gotta cut the edge and re-weld the edge on both sides. And then once I get that done, this part of the body will be done. I do have to clean up the underneath, and I'm really considering going ahead and finishing the body up and then putting it on the frame, finishing the frame up. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. All right, I got the edge of it cleaned up a little bit. Still needs to be worked on the passenger side. That side's better. He did put a lot of Bondo in the top edge of this trunk, probably the back, but this was done by the guy we got it from. This is the old paint job. So I'm going to pull all this Bondo off here and at least get it down so I can see what I got. This needs to come up here or go down a little bit. I'm going to play with that, but seems to fit pretty good. I don't know why I put all the Bondo on there. I know we welded nuts in here for the hidden hinges. There's one in there too. I guess bolts, I'm sorry. But I don't think there was a reason for all the Bondo. It's not horrible. So I'll get it cleaned off. And yeah, she fits good. And that'll be it for this one, I think. I really appreciate you watching. I'm gonna be working on this frame here next for this car. I'm gonna go through the frame, rear suspension, rear end's making some sort of noise on one of the I think it's the driver's side. And clean it all up and get it painted, clean up some ugly spots, weld some stuff up a little bit, and get it ready for the body to go back on. Really think I'm going to put the body on the frame so it can go to paint. It'll be easier to load on the trailer, and then it'll be out of my way. So, but really appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I got some really cool stuff coming up here soon. And anyway, I got some really cool stuff coming up here soon. So please subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions, I'll do what I can to answer them. Try to answer all the questions. At least I read through them all anyway. So thank y'all. Have a good day.